Howdy, howdy, everyone. Welcome to Inside Russia. My name is Konstantin and I'm streaming live. Welcome to the daily update on what is happening in Russia. Thank you for joining. Great to see everyone here. I hope that you are going to like my message today. I have tried my best assembling it, and again, one of those streams, what you're going to hear about, you will not hear anywhere else because a lot of it is my own experience, personal experience, and personal story or stories. To start today's stream, which is called The Goal of Power is Power, I would like to make a quote. See if you can guess whose quote that is. Power is not a means, it is an end. One doesn't establish power, one doesn't establish a dictatorship in order to safeguard the revolution. One makes the revolution in order to establish the dictatorship. The object of persecution is persecution. The object of torture is torture. The object of power is power. If you didn't guess, that is a quote by George Orwell from his ingenious book, one of the best books I've read, the book that has influenced me tremendously, 1984. Well, what is power? Why people seek power? How is power organized in Russia? And how Russia is different from other countries? Well, let me start where I often start. Let me take you a few steps back into the USSR. You know, USSR was not a communist country. Against a popular belief, it was not a socialist country. It was a dictatorship. A small group of people seized power and they used force, different agencies, to keep the power and strengthen the power. That's basically two objectives of Communist Party of the Soviet Union. To keep the power for as long as possible and to strengthen the power as much as possible. Well, nothing lasts forever, and power is a trap because power always has the end. If it's a personal power and the person keeps it all his life or her life, a dictator, still life ends and person's power ends. And the country, same thing. If country is a dictatorship, sooner or later that dictatorship ends. So the Soviet Union ended. 1991. Well, how was Soviet Union organized? Why was it dictatorship? Well, plain and simple. A small group of people called Politburo had control over everything. It controlled the army, it controlled police, secret police, KGB, everything. All decisions were made on the very top and were put to the very bottom. And decisions were mostly made with two goals in mind: to strengthen the power, keep the power. Back in the USSR, we had very little freedoms. Basically, we were doing what we were told to do. I don't remember the worst time of the USSR, the 60s, the 70s, I remember the late 80s, and I remember the whole system was shaking and breaking apart. And finally fell apart in 1991. Overnight, everything changed. We woke up, not free people, but we woke up in a completely different paradigm, completely different country. It's like, it was like, imagine you are in a concentration camp or something like that, something bad. And then everything goes as usual, and all of a sudden everyone goes to sleep and everyone wakes up, and people who had oppressed for some time gone, and you're free to do anything, walk away, stay, build a new life, anything. That's how we felt in Russia in the early 90s. Complete freedom. Things were times were tough, life was tough because we were reinventing wheels everywhere. We didn't know what to do. We didn't know how to make a living. We were struggling, all of us. But nevertheless, everyone was optimistic. There was happiness in the air. We were free. Okay, new life, new country was being built. Then I left in the mid '90s. I left Russia to pursue my lifelong dream, and I moved to the United States. Now, that's when things started getting real weird. Because in '96, I learned that life, society, could be built so differently from what I had been used to. It was actually quite shocking. There in the United States, for the first time in my life, I understood that things didn't have to be built from the top to the bottom, okay? Because people who are on the very top, all they care about themselves and how to keep themselves on the very top. And even if they wanted to make lives of people on the very bottom better, they wouldn't know how to. Because they're just sitting way up high, and that's it. The best place to govern regular people is the very bottom, and the best body to govern regular people is regular people themselves. The United States is where I learned that we are the people is actually a mighty powerful force. I don't know how about now, but back in the 90s and 2000s, we are the people were still a valid concept, okay? And that's how the United States was governed. And I'm talking about the United States, but there are so many other countries that are governed in the same way. In Europe, Australia, Canada, Great Britain, and so forth. The key difference from my country, where I had grown up, was who held the power. In my country, people on top always held the power. And when I came to, America, people on the bottom held a great deal of power. A lot of decisions that affected everyday life of people were made by people themselves on the very bottom. Every town, every village, every, city had a great deal of freedom to govern itself. They were councilmen, councilwomen. They were representatives, at the city level, at the town level, at the village level. Regular people who would get together and make very, very important decisions that would affect people who lived around them, okay? The huge difference between Russia and the United States was that this regular people, regular representatives, regular councilmen or councilwomen, they did not have power that they could use to their own, advantage. They didn't take kickbacks. They didn't establish companies, and they didn't get contracts through their representation. They actually worked for people. Of course, there were exceptions here and there. They were crooked crooked guys or girls getting into power, but they were exceptions, not the rule. And it was absolutely fantastic. I couldn't believe how many decisions were being made on the very bottom level. For example, taxes, state and local taxes. Okay, not talking about federal taxes. That's also needed, also understood. But taxes at the bottom were decided by people through political representation. Different states made different rules about their taxes. Some states made rules about high taxes, sales taxes, income taxes, and they decided to, raise money through taxes and redistribute to schools, and other things. Some states decided not to take taxes at all. New Hampshire, it doesn't have income tax. Live free or die, I couldn't believe what the level of freedom these people enjoyed on the ground. It was amazing. Another thing, some states have capital punishment and some don't. People of the states of different entities, political entities within one country decide of how to execute very serious criminals. Okay, this is great. People decide. We are the people. Another example, and these are just tiny examples of many. Okay, another example. How, like, car owners, what are the procedures for getting technical inspection of a car and making it legal to drive? Every state would set different rules. Okay, people of the state set different rules, the rules they liked. I couldn't believe that there was not federal police in the United States. I couldn't believe that police was actually hired by the locals, the towns, villages, cities, and it was funded 100% by the locals. The locals, regular people, hired chief of police, and they hired policemen, basically, and the police would answer to people. And if people didn't like the job of certain officials the policemen did, they would fire them. Unheard of in the USSR, unheard of in Russia, okay? It's just crazy. You see, in Russia, in the USSR, the police was hired by the government, paid by the government, and it protected the government. Guess who it protected the government from? In the United States was vice versa. The police was funded by the locals, serving and protecting the communities. It was pretty fantastic. Second Amendment. Americans were allowed to own firearms. In the USSR, it was crazy. Never. It was one of the worst crimes you could commit. It was even worse than like murder, to own a gun. Because, hey, if everyone owned a gun, then it would be really difficult to make a decision in Moscow and tell everyone all over the USSR to follow that decision, because people would ask questions and you just could not come and handle them with ease, Anyway, I was absolutely shocked how the United States was governed from the bottom to the top. Then I moved back to Russia in 2004. I still don't remember. Was it late 2003 or 2004? I think it was 2004. And I found old, good Soviet system in place. And I found that some not 100% Soviet. Things changed, of course. The biggest change was people were given a great deal of freedom. Freedom to leave the country at will, freedom to open a business and do business, freedom to create products and services and sell them, freedom for elections and so forth. But still, the very fabrics of the social organization were untouched, because biggest decisions were created on the very top in Moscow. They weren't economic decisions any longer, like back in the USSR, the planned economy, but they were very big, I would say, political decisions. And Russia is a federation. Official name of the country is Russian Federation. And each province, is fairly independent on paper, and it's led by a governor. And the governor, since 1991, was elected by the people of such province. But what happened in 2004, things started changing. The so-called vertical of power, vertikal vlasti, was introduced, and it was not a secret or anything like that. It was pretty obvious and pretty open in public. And one of the first decisions was to cancel the elections of the governors and to appoint the governors from Moscow. Now, pause and think about it. The governors were elected by people of the provinces. And then all of a sudden, there's a decision, completely legal. There was a federal law changing the system, election system, that gave power to the president of Russia to appoint governors. It means that the president of Russia could fire governors. Therefore, you understand, how they would have to behave not to get fired. And over the years, this system of the vertical of power was being strengthened. The explanation was pretty simple. It went something like this: Russia needs to become strong again. Russia needs to get up from its knees. Russia needs to get order. If there's an order, if Russia is strong, therefore every single citizen of Russian Federation benefits. Life becomes better. Well, back then I didn't really care much about these things. Young, opportunities ahead of me. I just had come back from the United States to Russia. I was enjoying every single gulp of Russian air. I came back and reunited with my family. I had a fantastic job. I was making fabulous money, and sky was the limit. Yes, this government thing was being strengthened. I would say the pyramid was being strengthened, but still, it was not strong and powerful, and I would say, I don't know how to say the right word. Anyway, it was not strong enough to not let others coexist with it. There were tons of people who were not part of this pyramid, who were not part of the government structure. Like small businessmen, regular folks, they were far away from this power vertical, the vertical of power. The government peacefully coexisted with the opposition, with people. There were certain freedoms of speech. There were independent media, and that media criticized the government a great deal, quite often. And this system, there's two systems, the government and non-government, people, companies, organizations, they coexisted peacefully. But then more and more, government was being beefed up. The muscles grew, it became stronger and stronger. The less and less it was possible to coexist peacefully with it. The first clashes started in 2011, and I've said many times already. the first opposition meetings on Bolotnaya Square, late 2011. At first, cops didn't know what to do. They didn't touch anyone. They were just in awe, looking at people who amassed in the very center of Moscow, and they were saying openly against the government, And then, there were new laws, there were new procedures, there were new goals, there was a new social agenda, so to speak. There was a struggle of these two systems. The vertical of power was getting stronger and more rigid, and whoever did not belong, whoever opposed this entity, the government, was being pushed away, was being downsized, I would say. Okay, Russia was never about riches. Russia was always about power. Even in the 90s, when we were young and free, if you had money, for example, somehow you did something, opened a company, and quickly got rich, happened on every corner. If you became rich, if you amassed fortune, but you weren't powerful, you didn't have any connection with power, then no one would take you seriously because you would lose your fortune very soon. Someone in a position of power would come in and take everything away from you. Outcomes could be different. They could be just take everything away from you, or it could be sinister at the end for you. So therefore, as soon as people amassed fortunes in Russia, they started becoming powerful. How do you do that? By getting attached to someone who already is in power, paying that person, getting protection. You start creating your own organization of power, bodyguards, quite a few bodyguards, a company of 100 bodyguards. Who do you hire? Former special agents, former policemen, former army people, former politicians. You become a powerful entity within this vertical of power, and you build yourself in, okay? And then, only then, you become respected in Russia. Because it's not about money, it's not about riches, it's about power. Always has been and still is. Look at Russian oligarchs. Look what happened to them after 24th of February. They were all rich. There's still some rich. A lot of them kept their fortunes abroad because Russia, by many people, was always considered, hey, it's okay to make money here, lots of money here, but your family and you live in a different country, in France, in England, in the United States. Okay, all of a sudden, they lost all their assets overnight that they had overseas, okay? Where are they now? Some still have the assets that are here in Russia, hurting a lot financially, and some lost nearly everything. Some even under arrest in other countries. That's what happens when you're about riches in money only in Russia. Oligarchs were also quite powerful, but not powerful enough, And look what happened to people of power here in Russia after February 24th. They have become even more powerful because, let's put it this way, emergency measures have been created here in Russia. Emergency laws to keep stability, to keep this vertical of power, to keep the government in place, to make sure the stability of the system. How do you do that? Making it more rigid. More like making it stronger. Making it as strong as possible. If it was built out of steel, rebuild it out of titanium. And this what has been done in the past 6 months. There's one problem though. Rigidity and strength is only good up to a certain point. It can withhold pressure only up to a certain point. If structure is flexible and the force is applied, that by being flexible, something bends, gets up again, but it doesn't break. That's the law of physics. And, all our world is run by the laws of physics. And that's one of the very important laws. But if a force applied to a rigid, very strong structure, that structure is going to withhold that force up to a certain point, a break point. And after that point is reached, the structure is going to break down and disintegrate. And somehow people forget about that. This has been my message. I hope you liked it and found it interesting. Please let me know in the comments what do you think. Before posting something, use common sense. I know a lot of you do that and I appreciate it. I would love to hear what you think. The comments are on. Mommy is numero uno today. Reese Gray, Blackhead, Mika Marketek, Sylvia, Kyle, Harry Podnan, Lorna, Jens, Jess Terry, Frank in Texas, Jeffrey, Bruce, Angelic at Life, The Equalizer, David, Clark, Ludmila, Fiticus, Karen, fellow member of the community with a very strange name, E2QNX8BTRAQ3ZRD6J7FC. This must be the easiest name to pronounce for me ever. Just like that, boom. Well, Chicago, USA, welcome. Commercial got me, says Lorna. Well, look, no matter what, you are and mommy number one, always out there, and Reese Gray is number 1.5. Usual suspects, thank you so much. Such a pleasure to see you all coming back. Just the fact that there are so many people in the chat commenting, this fact alone gives me motivation to keep on going. Thank you so much. Reese Gray with the first super chat as usual. Hello from Canada, Mr. Popular. Do you think the reason that certain leaders first sought power were altruistic and have become misguided over time? Or were they always seeking power for personal greed? This is a very philosophical question, Reese. I believe in the good of people, and I believe that some leaders were altruistic and seeking public good. But you know what? Power corrupts. And absolute power corrupts absolutely. I hands down agree with this message. I have tasted the power myself, and trust me, it's very sweet, but it's very corruptive. Thank goodness I didn't dive into the power thing, for the rest of my life. But it was tempting. Let me tell you, it was tempting. So I think there are some leaders who were initially good and looking to make some goodness. Personal greed, quite often person is brought to the top by personal greed, because that's a very powerful feeling, powerful motivator. Anyway, thank you very much, Reese. Great to see you. Thank you. There was a gift of Blackhead to 5 viewers, so 5 more sponsors, courtesy of Blackhead. Thank you so much, my friend. And who are they? Magnus, the Equalizer, Pietra, Male Pietchia. I'm sorry, I pronounce names bad, Welcome. Thank you. Thank yous to Black Cat for this gift again. Thank you so much. Gregory, yes, I know that phrase by heart. Trust me, I use it quite a bit and always remember about that. If you want me to read your comment, more chances to read the comment, then please put it in caps and put my name in front of it. So it's an orange box and I see it easier. Harry Potnin, Bob S., howdy, howdy. Cheryl and Lawrence from Georgia, howdy, howdy. LJD, good to see you too. Angelica, doesn't money beget power? What's beget? I'm sorry, I didn't understand the question. Ariana, Konstantin, do you have power? Does the company you work for have power and flexibility? Thank you. Company that I worked for got so big at some point and pretty powerful, and it failed. It became too rigid, too strong. Our revenue was over $1 billion per year. And that brought lots of problems, lots of responsibilities, okay, lots of work, because you can't be big and you cannot be independent at the same time in Russia. Okay, so company went bust and it was broken into couple smaller companies, and now this smaller company that I am employed by definitely is flexible. We have power enough to be responsible, be ethical, and that's pretty much it. So that's the evolution of my company. IVDV, hi Alexander. Oh, my name is Konstantin, but I'll go by Alexander if you want. Or if it's you, Alexander, I'm not sure. Anyway, a few days ago you asked why you should leave Russia. Maybe because you pay taxes and doing so you are helping the regime to stay alive. Let me tell you something. That is a very tough and difficult question. Point. A lot of people suggest that points definitely taken. But trust me, this decision is life changing and it's absolutely huge. And it's not made in one day. Okay. I did address this issue in previous streams. There is so much involved, not just me, okay? It's like imagine you're a huge tree. You have tons of birds, like new leaves, houses, and stuff like that. You have lots of bushes around you, under your shade. And then all of a sudden you need to uproot and be moved someplace else, just like that. That's not easy, okay, and that's very difficult. But you partially right. You partially right. That's all I gotta say. Bridget Apley, thank you so much. Message is pretty powerful. Blackhead, take your boy fishing. This is what we're gonna do. He likes fishing so far. Once we go back to Moscow, there is a pond, very famous pond called Chistaya Prudy, right in the center of Moscow, right next to the Kremlin. No one ever fishes there, except for me. I have fished there before. People just go to stroll around and things like that and Trust me, they see me fishing, they're absolutely amazed. Fish in that pond is not fished, so the fish is large, huge carps. Pond is quite small and quite shallow, but this is where I'm taking Michael next time. Not too far, the school starts in 2 weeks. So thank you so much. I will do so. A lot of people ask me and even email me what kind of tea, what would I drink. Well, my friends, this is of course Scotch. Single malt, Glenmorangie, 21-year-old, oak, casket. Good stuff. Gosh, how else would I do daily live streams without Scotch. Yeah, joking. This is tea. It's tea from Sri Lanka. In Russia, it's called Ceylon. It's very good, called Mlesna. You can buy it on Amazon. I'm not affiliated or anything. But someone emailed me just half an hour ago when I emailed back. Mlesna, Mlesna. This is regular black tea, Highland or something like that. It's fantastic. I've tried English breakfast. I've tried Old Grey. All is good. Devon Harris, Constantine, the party told you to reject the evidence of your eyes and ears. It was their final, most essential command. Thank you. Devon, I know. Happened to me. You read about it in 1984, and I actually lived in 1984, okay? And I'm going back to 1984 fast. Catherine Hughes, thank you so much for your super chat. What are your thoughts on more alignment with North Korea? How will that improve your country? I hope you will be happy one day. I hope you didn't mean I hope you will be happy in North Korea one day. I'm shocked. Catherine, how can a normal person react about more and more alignment with North Korea? I am absolutely shocked. It's funny, but we say it's laughter with tears at the same time. It's funny, but it's so sad. Absurd. I am going to elaborate more on that later because the news are coming. It's not fantasy, it's a reality. We are aligning more and more with North Korea. There are some people coming over to Russia to work from North Korea, okay, to help us out, help us freaking out, North Koreans. Oh, yeah. So anyway, I'm shocked and I'm horrified by that. Ivy, reason I call you Alexander is because you like ancient history. Okay. And I think the name is good nickname for you. Alexander. I like that. Alright. You stronger warrior by each day. That I am. Yeah, that I am. Thank you. My friend, you can call me anything you want. Thank you so much for super chat. Thank you so much for the message. Golden Griffon, howdy. RN87, Angel Arch. Moto Tom, greetings from Germany. Good Nabend. Jeffrey S. Power too quickly can be destructive to a person. Power is a trap because it ends. And usually it ends quite quickly. The easiest example of power is corporate world. I think some of you worked in large corporations, and that's all about power. It's not about money, because money is a function of power. The higher you climb, the more you make, the more powerful you are, and so forth. And you know what? You usually don't last long. If you're so focused on power, and then like one of the guys gave me an advice. I was promoted. It was my first promotion in life in corporation. large corporation, and he told me, he was a millionaire, he said, look who you hurt on the way up, because every one of those people gonna hurt you on the way down. I used different words, but the meaning was the same. So, yes, Jeffrey, so the easiest way to see how power can be destructive is in corporations. Clark, howdy, howdy. Tweaks 101. Howdy, Derby, England. Wow. Some messages, some comments are okay, but I prefer not to answer them due to safety reasons. Linda Doswell, howdy, howdy. Cannot disagree with you. Mark from Jax, Florida, North Florida, howdy. Question from Scott Nesbitt. How is the healthcare there? It looks like the hospitals are really old looking. Thanks. It also comes down to power, because if you live in a country that values power and you build into this structure of power, then you try to take advantage as much as you can. And then healthcare is just one of the cells of power, okay? Hospitals, they have vertical of power, every single hospital. And I would say this, Scott, if you get sick in Russia, you would get health care, okay? You wouldn't die. In Moscow, healthcare system works really, really good. I really enjoy it. I have nothing bad to say. In Rostov-on-Don, it's okay. It's much worse. Again, if you need doctor's help, you will get free help. Probably not the best quality, but still, you will get medical health. Hospitals are from really old and unmaintained to the good ones and modern ones, okay? Again, to get better services, not necessarily to have money, but to know someone in power, to have a connection, to give a call and ask for help. And that person calls another person, you get the best health care you can get anywhere, okay, in the world, okay? That is also possible. That's how power structure works. If you don't have power, if you are poor Joe, then you are in for harder times. Think using boilies for carp. Thinking of you, Bob. Angelic at life. I would think it would be easy to get power with money. But yes, it's easy to get power with money, but in Russia, power is the goal of power, not the money. You do not go into power to get the money, but vice versa. You get the power to get power, okay? And everything comes with power. In the United States, it usually works the other way. People with money, they get power. Here in Russia, if you have money and if you don't have power, that's a recipe for becoming very poor very fast. Catherine Hughes, you're thank you so much. I just wish certain people would allow everyone to live in peace. I love your evening conversations. Thank you, Catherine, and I pray for certain people allowing us to live, allowing everyone to live in peace Every single day I pray. And I invite everyone with me to pray. King Nero is here. Howdy, howdy. Standing up to any power group takes fortitude. Yeah. Proceed with caution. Stay thirsty, my friend. Thank you so much. It sure does. You're spot on. I am being as cautious as I can. Trust me. The question is it enough or not to stay cautious? Toxed. What is the local time in Rostov now? I start my streams at 11 p.m. and finish them at midnight. Sometimes few minutes after midnight if Mods and Bob are in good mood and let me do that. And sometimes at midnight or around midnight, pretty close to midnight. Lisa, yes, carp are fun to catch. Yes, they are. Lee Pyle tried to send super chat. Well, thanks for trying. Jeffrey S. I hope Michael doesn't think Uncle Jeffrey has a money tree in his backyard. Doesn't think Uncle Jeffrey has a money tree in his backyard. We all see who has the real power with those pipes of your... Thank you, Jeffrey. It's thank you. I'm not gonna comment this super chat and message. Thank you. I used to work out when I was teenager, young adult. Unfortunately, cannot pump iron any longer because of my eyes. I wish I could do that. I still have some left. Haven't worked out in 10 years, you know. Victor from Orlando, Florida. Orlando, one of my favorite places in the USA. Howdy, Victor. Ferrari guy. Authoritarian government reduce parallel societal structures that could threaten their power. They reduce or they suck them into their system, so to speak, you know. China sees this more than Russia does. Perhaps. Thank you so much. Truffles 1111 $10, no message. Thank you so much. This message is pretty powerful. Angelic at life, thanks for clarifying. I'm just saying, usually money and power go hand in hand if wanted. You're right, but something comes first and something comes second. Something is a derivative from something. In the United States, usually money buys power. In Russia, power, pure form of enjoyment to some people, brings all the, the sweetness of life. Money, control, attention, fame, and so forth. So power is number one here in Russia. Brianna, howdy. So, Angela Cat Life, you're right, but your point of view, your projection is American, like the Western world. And I'm talking about Russia. That's two different worlds, you know. Just area. I miss pumping iron too. You can't do it by healthy reasons as well. I had the surgery on my eyes in Uzbekistan a few months ago. And I was talking after the surgery, I was talking to a doctor. And when he heard me, it's like, I asked him if I could pump iron. He's like, are you crazy? No, you can't. He said that not any nearsighted person should pump iron, like, do bench presses and stuff like that. because that really takes toll on eyes. Only people with healthy eyes can do that. So that was a disappointment. Devon Harris, thank you so much for $20. I really admire the fact that you're willing to stick to your principles and convictions. I think you're very intelligent and wise. Think more important now for your voice at this moment in time to be heard. Thank you so much. Well, fantastic to have support and priceless to have this words and the message. Thank you. I appreciate it. The message is heard and very welcomed, very liked. Thank you. Tony Torkelson, number one fan. Thank you. Thank you so much, Tony. I appreciate it. Chris Allen. Howdy, howdy, Chris. I saw your photo with the young, and it's a common memory for me with my dad. You know, Chris and everyone, I caught myself this vacationing. I caught myself thinking that I was doing for Michael same thing my dad was doing for me 40 years ago. I clearly saw the parallels between the actions. I was taking Michael to this kind of the same kind of places that my dad was taking me to the mountain trails, to a cave, to the sea. I was trying to teach him to how to swim well and dive and jump off the piers and things like that, And I have a picture of like what you saw with my dad, and now it's my turn with Michael. And I guess the next turn will be Michael and his son or his daughter when in like 20 or 30 years. Hopefully I'll be still alive by then. Deacon Prepper, you all stay safe and vigilant. Many blessings. Same to you, thank you. Angelicat, what's more interesting to me is that just with my train of thought, you knew I was American. Well, that's pretty obvious. I mean, I am myself, I consider myself partially a little bit American, and I know how Americans think. I know the spirit, okay? I have a little bit of that. And I clearly understood what you meant by not even understanding your message completely. So, Petra, the new sponsor, I'm always wondering why you have to ask the mods for some more minutes. Can you tell? Well, yes, I can, because I respect mods very much. And imagine this, we have a schedule, and right now I have 4 minutes left. We have a schedule, and mods show up every single day for the past 6 months. I think all in all, we missed 10 days, including my vacation, something like that. Every single day, mods show up and they do lots of work. They clean the chat, they read every single message. And I have lots of respect and I have lots of responsibilities to them. That's why I humbly ask them if they can extend some of their time into, to make the stream a few minutes longer. And if they so say no, I would make it like short. You know what I mean? That's why I always ask the mods. Wild Wolf Pack, have you ever read the book Red Dawn? I have watched the movie. I didn't see I didn't read the book. I didn't even know that the book existed. Blackhead, thank you so much. Michael Old, what's your favorite Russian food? Grilled meat, I would say. Red caviar, black caviar. Unfortunately, I don't eat black caviar much. Like once every 10 years. Blini, crepes. burgers, hamburgers, fries, French fries. That's my favorite Russian food. Warp '09, glad to catch even a few minutes of your stream live. Thank you so much. Now that I'm out of hospital again, well, great to see you. I'm glad you're feeling better. Thank you. Golden Griffin, not at the same time. Grilled meat and caviar and stuff like that, just separately. Couple of minutes. P.O. Box from Australia, thank you. Do you think your viewers know you are just posting political smut to feel hatred for Russia? That's my friend. That's not what I do. You're completely mistaken me for something. No. I do different thing here. I'm pretty honest with the viewers. I'm pretty honest with myself. First of all, of what I do. Before posting something like that, you should come to Russia and put yourself into my shoes. Experience what I have been experiencing, and understand where I'm coming from, and only then you post something smart, not stupid. The biggest reason for this blog, channel, is that I want Russia not to be hated by everyone. I want Russia to be understood. I want Russia to become a good member of international community again. I want Russia to be good again. Okay, I want Russia to be included, not excluded, and that's the biggest reason I do these live chats every single day, and I deliver messages. Okay, I want to shed light on how life in Russia is today. IVDV, did you skip my super chat about 89 in Slovakia? I guess I did. Let me go and check. And then I'll go into prayer after that. Too far. It doesn't let me go up that far. I'm sorry, my friend, I can't find your super chat. IVDV. D1 Harris, thank you so much. Yes. Read between the lines, because not everything can be said these days. Rezus pieces. Do you think Russia can extract itself from current situation? I pray for it every single day. I pray things will get better. I pray. I don't know when, I don't know how, but I just have hope and I have faith. And this is what I want to do, to invite you to pray with me, because this is time to finish the stream. And I always finish with a prayer. Dear God, thank you so much for giving us this wonderful day. Thank you for giving us food on the tables, roofs over our heads, and surrounding us with people that we love and care, and who love us and care about us. Please help our children, keep them safe and healthy. Please help stop the bloodshed in Ukraine. Reach out and touch the hearts of people who can make decision to stop the bloodshed. Fill them with love, compassion, mercy, empathy. forgiveness, make them softer, open their eyes so they make this right decision to stop it. Please reach out and touch the hearts of American President Joe Biden and Russian President Vladimir Putin. Fill their hearts with love, mercy, forgiveness, compassion, empathy. Please make them softer so they make the right decision to stop this bloodshed. Help everyone who's been affected, hurt in Ukraine. Answer everyone's prayers, give them strength, and make their wishes come true. Send angel to every single person who's been affected, so angels help them. Please help my country. Send strong angels with sharpest swords, led by Saint Michael, to get rid of the demons that have hijacked my country. Make it run by the angels, make it shine again, make it righteous again. I'm asking you to help every single woman who is pregnant and trying to make a decision to keep a baby or not. Reach out to them, talk to them so they make the right decision. Please help every single person who has been forced to flee his or her life for her life. Please send help and send good people who would provide help. Help everyone who's helping Ukraine, opening their wallets, their homes, their hearts, their praying, sending good wishes. Please help those people. Please give us wisdom to raise our children so the way that when they grow up, they make this world a better place. They will never fight with one another. Thank you so much for bringing us into this community and giving us an opportunity to pray together. Please help everyone who's praying along with me or watching us pray. Answer their prayers, make their wishes come true. I would like to mention a few people who need help. And the first person is my wife Natasha. Please help her. She needs to feel better. Please help. 9 Veka, Elena, Natasha, Jake, Michael, Oля, Dasha, Sky, Igor, and Bonnie. Buzz, N, Jean-Paul, Paula, Janine, Michael Milkevitz, Marlene, Narnian Lady, Susan S., Susan, Fiona, Sabrina, Freddie, Madeline, Stephen, Ellen, Martin, Donald from Wisconsin, who always asking for himself and for his country separately, for the United States of America. Alice and Dave Moyers, I found Waldo, Liz, Deborah, Isabel Ligaud, may her father rest in peace and give her strength. Ariana, Liz, Bruce, Kayleen, Michael, Thomas, Tony, Bob, Jessica, Minutes to Midnight, Mr. Hanson, and I would like to ask you for 4 kids specifically who need help. They are Maverick, Sebastian, Britzel Andrews, and Coulter, a 9-year-old boy. They are asking for your miracles. They're waiting for your miracles. Their families are waiting for your miracles. Please show them your strength and your love. They need to get better and come back to their families healthy. Please give them complete recovery. They really, really need and expecting that. Thank you so much. Jesus, amen. thank you so much for coming. Thank you for praying, or for watching us pray, or for sending good wishes to people. Thank you so much. It's been not such an easy message today, but a good one anyway. You are awesome and you rock. I wanted to remind you. Thank you for coming again, and I will see you tomorrow. Another message. It's going to be Wednesday. It's really tough to believe how time is flying, especially summertime is flying. Thank you again, and goodbye.